I'm here in Davos, Switzerland with a team of 6 journalists from Rebel News.
They're saying that you're going to be the next prime. I didn't know this. The next prime minister of Canada, potentially.
What?
That's what I'm hearing. So tell me.
How good are your sources?
Justin Trudeau was condemning China for the treatment of lockdown protesters after what he did to the truckers. Do you think he should apologise?
Look, we're not doing a walking interview, so...
And something that my government is going to do is to use all of the powers of the federal government, including the emergency powers of the federal government, to accelerate the major projects that we need.
Your rival, Chrystia Freeland, had one of our reporters arrested.
I don't think she did. I think
she didn't say a word against it.
If the police tried to arrest... We got to do our yearly scroll in Davos.
No, how you been?
You can't take Mark Carney anywhere.
I didn't do that.
How you been?
I've been all right. How are you?
I've got a couple of quick questions for you this year.
Just arrived, thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the party. I've been here a couple of days. We're the elites of the elites. Here, so let me ask you something. So Justin Trudeau is struggling in the polls there. What would your I guess advice be to Trudeau, because you've got an election coming up?
It's very good of you to follow Canadian politics that close.
But seriously, he needs help. He's down 20 points. He has a gender gap. Women are choosing Conservatives more than Liberals. I don't remember the last time that happened. What advice would you have for the youngster?
Going to a central banker for political advice is never a good idea.
Come on.
Going to a central banker for political advice is never a good idea.
Come on, we know that you're in the line.
I heard you had a meeting the other day with the Prime Minister in Ottawa. Is that correct?
I see the Prime Minister from time to time.
In what capacity, may I ask?
I do a lot of work on climate, as you know. Sure, a big fan of that.
When you meet with the PM on climate, are you there on your own behalf, or are you there on behalf of a company law?
I am the UN Special Envoy on climate action and finance. I'm the UN Special Envoy on climate action and finance.
Mark Carney is back from Europe.
Speaking as a European.
To finish what he started. As Justin Trudeau's economic advisor, he's been pushing
a steady increase in the price of carbon.
On you for years. Now he's planning to hit you with
effectively a shadow carbon price
after the election. And that will cost you even more, because he thinks
carbon prices have been applied sparingly. They've been set far too low.
You sneaky.
Carbon tax Carney. He's just like Justin.
People will charge me as being elitist or a globalist, to use that term, which is, that's exactly, it happens to be exactly what we need.
That's your double standard.
It is not a double standard.
It is a double standard.
No, it's not.
You make billions of dollars off foreign pipelines, and you shut them down here at home, putting our people out of work.
That you are a representative of the Canadian people, and one of your responsibilities, including at this committee,
is to fight for Canadian jobs, and not foreign jobs like you.
Exactly. I grew up in Alberta. I know the innovative nature of that.
Well, go try to give that answer back in Alberta, because I grew up there too, and I can tell you the people. I can tell you the people of Alberta would be ashamed with the answer you just gave. You've just said you support your leader's decision to kill a Western Canadian pipeline that ships the most ethical product in the world, yet you also support your company's decision to invest billions of dollars in foreign pipelines in Brazil and in the UAE. It's clear that this is not about the environment. If it were, you'd be consistent and you'd oppose fossil fuels everywhere, but you're happy to profit off of foreign fossil fuel companies while killing jobs among our own people. How do you address that flagrant hypocrisy? It smacks of the Davos elite at its worst.
People will charge me as being elitist or a globalist, to use that term, which is, that's exactly, happens to be exactly what we need.
I have been talking with Mark Carney for years now.
Mark is a friend of a personal friend of very long standing. He's someone who I talk to often. It's really great for our team to have Mark providing advice to the Liberal Party.
I support the government. I think the government's on the right track. I support the Prime Minister.
Does capitalist democracy still work? Let's wonder if our children can count on capitalist democracy's essential promise of a future more prosperous than our present. If democratic societies can rise to the existential challenge of climate change.
Thank you, Professor Schwab, for your warm welcome. I'd like to take a moment just off the top to recognize a founder of the World Economic Forum and a great Canadian, Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong.
He was asked which country he most admired and referred to China.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar.
If Trudeau was deliberately trying to sabotage Canada, what would he do differently? In the 3 years before Bill C-69 came into effect, a total of 112 major natural resource projects worth $196 billion were either suspended, canceled, or put on hold.
And Richard, it looks like the Canadian economy is starting to shrink.
The latest GDP numbers in today, Melissa, it kind of shows the Canadian economy pretty much grinding to a halt.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has now added more federal debt than all the other Canadian prime ministers combined.
Pain at the pumps as drivers in Eastern Canada wake up to a massive gas price increase.
Food prices rose at our fastest pace in almost 40 years.
With home prices across Canada surging.
The growth in rent prices in the second quarter was the fastest pace on record.
They're going after Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle instead of gangsters in Toronto.
Court records indicate Watt was out on bail.
And we have learned that the suspect was out on bail.
So first there was C-11 that let the government regulate the internet. Then there was C-18 that commandeered the big tech companies and the search engines. And now there's C-36. This law lets them put you under house arrest, have a curfew, have any firearms you have seized, put an ankle bracelet on you to monitor you.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship.
Trudeau and his Liberal government will do everything within their power to strip Canadians of their individual rights, taking away their freedom of speech and therefore their freedom to oppose. Skewed reality, false narratives, willful ignorance, and straight-up lies are the defining feature of Trudeau's 8 years in power. A new law could soon allow him to crush said opposition. Last year, the government surreptitiously pushed forward Bill C-11, the Online Streaming Act, on the grounds that it will be used to promote content relevant to Canadians. That couldn't be farther from the truth. Bill C-11 is the Liberals' first major step to erode freedom of speech on the internet. The bill is a thinly veiled censorship law that will be used to shove all those who oppose the government into irrelevancy.
At the same time, social responsibility. It will be a young world. It will be a digital world. Now, who could represent such a world better than you, Prime Minister?
Thank you very much. Today, we are gathered here to contemplate whether we are in the stages of the fourth industrial revolution about to begin. What a breathtaking possibility that is.
Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs.
I support the government. I think the government's on the right track. I support the Prime Minister.